Coliseum alongside Jess Settles. I'm Rich Hollander. So, Jess, both of these teams, West Virginia and Iowa State, come in limping down the stretch. But if Iowa State's going to get back on track in front of their home crowd, they're going to have to do it against West Virginia's top scorer the last couple of games, and that, of course, is Trey Mitchell.
He's been unstoppable. He's been sensational, averaging 21 points per game over the last two. He will post you up, and he will take you out beyond the three-point line. He hit 3 big ones against Kansas. The Cyclones have to find him every possession.
And Jess, on a night where we just mentioned 8 Cyclone seniors are honored, it's a freshman that shall lead TJ Otzelberger's club.
A lot of pressure on Taman Lipsey. They've got to find a way to generate points. It's been a real struggle over the last 3 games. He's got to be able to get downhill, put pressure on the rim, collapse the defense, and kick it out to the shooters.
As we mentioned, both teams struggling coming in. West Virginia lost 4 of their last 5, but Bob Huggins' club gave Kansas all they could handle in Lawrence. They lost by just 2 at Allen Fieldhouse on Saturday. Iowa State, losers of 5 of their last 6, including at home on Saturday to Oklahoma, just their 2nd home loss all year. But as we mentioned, if Iowa State wins tonight, and Baylor, who is playing right now at Oklahoma State in Stillwater, if Baylor wins and Iowa State wins, Iowa State advances to the quarterfinals and gets that coveted Wednesday bye. Your officials tonight, Ron Groover, Tony Padilla, Jeb Hartness. We are underway and in their road blue with the old gold trim. West Virginia controls the opening tip. Here's Eric Stevenson, averaging 24 a game his last 3, and it's a great start for West Virginia and number 10 in blue.
Yeah, playing like Jerry West over the last couple weeks. Every time he gets the ball, he feels like he can score on anybody in this league.
Iowa State starting 5, shaken up a little bit. Caleb Grill coming off the bench. He started most of the season, but now that Jazz Kuntz is back, he's in the starting 5, number 5 in white.
Well, they've got to come up with some answers, so they're making some switches. 21% from beyond the arc over their last 3.
Lipsey off the mark, and the freshman misses his first shot, not his specialty. West Virginia, everyone in the starting 5 has started almost every game this season, including 0 in blue, Kedrian Johnson, but he lost it. And Lipsey gets fouled by Johnson.
Johnson had 8 turnovers against Kansas. He's a big spark. He's got speed and quickness, but he's got to play under control, especially on the road.
Johnson averaging just 6 points a game on the road, but he had a career-high 22 against the Cyclones in Morgantown earlier this season. Here's Holmes, 13 in white. This Iowa State offense has been sputtering as of late. Haven't reached 60 points a game in their last 3. 3 on the shot clock. A heave by Holmes, no good, but tracked down by Lipsey, fresh 20 seconds.
They were 18 out of 58 against Oklahoma. Last 3 games, 53 points per game, 21% from 3. They're going to have to attack the basket more.
And they did it just there, and Gabe Kalschers got the first bucket of the game for the Clones. Good hands by Lipsey, tips it out of bounds. It'll stay West Virginia basketball.
The turnovers kill West Virginia because they are one of the elite offensive rebounding teams in the country. They at least need to get a shot up. Half the time it's an assist for them. They go up and clean it up. They'll dunk it right on top of you on those tip dunks.
It's strength on strength tonight. West Virginia, the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. And the Iowa State Cyclones, the #1 defensive rebounding team in terms of percentage. There's another foul call. This one's going to go on Gabe Kalscher, his first.
Well, this is what West Virginia does to you. They played bully ball. They attack you. Kalscher, an elite defensive player, but you can't put your hand on a guy and then trip him. West Virginia shot 31 free throws the first time these 2 teams played. They parade to the line, 10th in the country in free throws made and attempted. Keep your hands off of them.
Yeah, they foul a lot, they get fouled a lot, and they make a lot of free throws.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's their best offense, and now Ron Groover is giving fair warning to these Cyclones. 55 total free throws the last time these teams met in Morgantown. Trey Mitchell almost lost it. And it's going to be another West Virginia turnover. Active hands by the freshman Lipsy.
I talked to Coach Huggins before the game, and he said, Iowa State is tough to score against. They send the double. That's just a self-inflicted turnover, a careless turnover. Those are the ones that West Virginia has been struggling with all season long.
So 2 quick turnovers in the first 2+ minutes for the Mountaineers. Chance for Iowa State to take their first lead of the game. Here's Kuntz. Kalsher for 3. Got it. An early 2 for 2 for number 22, the senior Gabe Kalsher.
9 for his last 28 from beyond the arc coming in. So those are shots he has to knock in. Somebody for Iowa State's going to have to score 20 points. TJ Otzelberger, he loves the balanced scoring, but when you are struggling like this, somebody's got to step up and have a big one individually.
6 players on the Cyclones average between 9 and 14 points a game in Big 12 play.
Gabe Kalsher, he can score. He's got the green light, and nice jab step, tremendous arch, knocks it in. Those are the ones Iowa State has to make. They don't have a lot of guys who can beat you off the bounce. Got to get each other open, knock in the open threes.
Kalsher, one of those struggling clones on offense, 34% from the field in his last 7, but he's made 3 3-point field goals in each of his last 3 games. He's got 1 already tonight that gave Iowa State a 5-3 lead. Keedy Johnson. And the foul is going to be on the floor on Iowa State.
I'll tell you, keep your eye on number 15 for West Virginia, Bell. He posts up as hard as anybody in this league. This guy can take you up and dunk you with the basketball. He is so strong. That's what they do. Bully ball, wear you down, foul you out.
Bell, a senior transfer from Moberly Community College in Missouri.
You might as well bring it back into him.
Stevenson got it. And he smiles at the Iowa State bench as he goes back on defense.
Such an emotional player, but so fun to watch.
Coming off a 23-point effort against Kansas in Lawrence. And he's already got an early 6 tonight against what is arguably the best defense in the Big 12. Kalsher off the mark. Stevenson the rebound.
Great defense by Stevenson. Forced the fadeaway jumper.
Heat check. That one comes up short, and Robert Jones enters the game and gets his first rebound.
Yeah, I don't mind that shot. He's feeling it. Let it fly. You're on the road. Nothing to lose. You're trying to make the NCAA tournament. You got to be aggressive.
Kalsher again.
Great read by Kalsher. They expect him to come out and shoot the 3. He curls the action, gets him to the paint. Point of emphasis for TJ Otzelberger. They can't live and die by the 3 in this game.
So a little more than 5 minutes gone by, and it's Gabe Kalsher 7, Eric Stevenson 6. Here's Stevenson again, this time too strong, and Trey King snares it for the Clones. And an offensive foul, says Tony Padilla. And that's going to be on Gabe Kalsher, his 2nd. We have our first media timeout of this contest. Iowa State with a 7-6 lead at home. Well, it's Joey Brackett's time of year. Our resident bracketologist, Joe Lenardi, says not 1 but 2 Big 12 teams are among the last 4 in. West Virginia being one of them. Oklahoma State, who's playing Baylor right now, is the other one. So I'll ask you this, Jess Settles. Make the case, if you can, for West Virginia to be in the field come NCAA tournament time.
Well, they played the toughest schedule in the country, and Coach Huggins keeps pointing that out to us. They also play in by far the best conference in the country. They compete well every single night. Now, last year, Iowa State got into the tournament with 7 conference wins. I would feel more comfortable if they had 6. But that's really what the standard has been. There's still a little bit of work to do, but this is a great team playing extremely well right now. I would love to see them make it. Still a lot of opportunities ahead.
So they've got a game tonight on the road, a tough one here at Iowa State. Then they finish up at home against 11th ranked Kansas State. If they win one of these two games, do you think they'll make the NCAA tournament?
Absolutely.
You do?
I think they're good enough. I think that's a heck of a resume. It's an interesting year, a unique year. In this conference, every single team could get in and go deep. Oklahoma blew out Alabama. You look at their resume, and they're the worst team in the league.
Yeah. Maybe the biggest win of the year for these West Virginia Mountaineers as we see Eric Stevenson, who is unconscious early inside Hilton Coliseum. He's got 9. And West Virginia's up by 2.
He was 7 for his last 13 from 3 coming in. A 40% three-point shooter. And if you're Iowa State, as stout as your defense is, the scouting report says you cannot give him an inch.
And just to finish that point, West Virginia's best win of the year came early in the backyard brawl. They were able to beat Pitt at Pitt, and now Pitt, who is right at the top of the ACC standings, is ranked in the top 25. That's a huge quad 1 win for West Virginia.
Massive quad 1 win. And Stevenson, hey, he came to play. He loves to play on the road. Yeah, he's streaky, but when he's in a zone, he's as good as anybody in this league. That ball's not even touching the rim. Number 10 on fire.
Stevenson had a pair of 30-plus point efforts earlier in this season. 34 against Oklahoma, 31 against Auburn. On any given night, he could be the best shooter in the gym as Trey King knocks down the free throws. This is our final Super Tuesday of the season, and it's a big one. NC State at Cameron Indoor, taking on Duke at 7 Eastern. Then number 3 Kansas hosts Texas Tech at Allen Fieldhouse. Both games on ESPN and the app. Jayhawks won the first meeting between Kansas and the Red Raiders, 75-72 back on January 3rd, despite 26 points from Kevin O'Banner. And Texas Tech now is in the conversation.
How good is Kevin O'Banner? I mean, I just love to watch him play. The ultimate Swiss Army knife. That's way too wide open. I mean, you're playing with fire to let him get these open threes.
Nice feed, Keedy Johnson. Oh, and what a follow by Emmett Matthews. Offensive rebounds are the key for this West Virginia offense, and we saw a prime example right there. And now James Okonkwo, 32 in blue, is limping off the floor.
I talked to Kyle Green, the Iowa State assistant, before the game. He said the #1 key is to keep these guys off of the glass. This is what they do. They just come relentlessly to the rim on every shot. And that's what we said. You can't turn the ball over if you're West Virginia because misses are assists.
Those offensive rebounding numbers might be challenged now with Okonkwo on the bench, and they're missing Muhammad Wagi, also out with an injury. Out of the double team, Lipsy shorted it. West Virginia up 2 with the ball. Mitchell loves to shoot it from beyond the arc. He misses that one, but an offensive rebound again by West Virginia. Tough 2 off the mark. Air ball by Stevenson, and he's going to hear it from Cyclone Alley.
Yeah, his first forced shot of the night. You get the offensive rebound. You want to swing it side to side and make Iowa State play another round of defense. Stevenson and Grill, a lot of contact there.
Caleb Grill's first shot too strong off the back iron, and Jimmy Bell grabs it for the ears. What makes Iowa State's defense so stout?
They're so good at help defense. They pull the entire side of the lane. They're going to make you hit outside shots and force you into 15-footers.
And with 9 on the shot clock, a foul is called on the Cyclones.
They're also the best team in the league at doubling the post. If you get the ball inside, they're going to send 2 guys at you. It's very hard to get near the rim. That looks like a play on, doesn't it?
I think the crowd agrees with this.
Yeah. Things getting a little chippy right now.
2 very physical, multiple effort type teams meeting in Ames tonight with just 2 games remaining in the regular season. West Virginia fighting for their postseason lives. And that foul is going to enable West Virginia to inbounds from under their own basket again. Here's Stevenson with an early 9, looking for more. And he's short. Oshuni the rebound.
I tell you what, everybody, I love the Big 12 rock fight. This is the game where there's a lot of physicality. You've got to be really tough on every single possession, going both directions.
In a physical league, maybe the most physical, these are the two most physical teams.
Absolutely.
And this crowd is in a lather already. 8 minutes gone by. And it's going to stay Iowa State basketball. A flop is called, and that means a free throw for Iowa State and possession. Gabe Kalsher will do the honors.
Well, you're probably not going to get away with flopping in this game. It's so physical. Little contact there. I don't know. That's a play on to me as well, but the Cyclones will take it.
14 fouls on Iowa State, 3 for West Virginia so far. And now, because of the flop rule this year, they got the free throw and possession. Here's Kalsher, sets his puppies and knocks it down. $11 for Gabe Kalsher, and Iowa State's back on top by 2. And a traveling violation called on Emmett Matthews.
Wow, what a battle. Kalsher, he curls, he puts the ball on the floor. Here's the dribble handoff. Look at the great screen by Oshini. You give Kalsher an inch, he'll take a mile.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. And we've got a rock fight, as expected, between the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Iowa State Cyclones senior night inside Hilton Coliseum. The final home game of the regular season for the Clones, who came into this game, Jess Settles, really struggling offensively. As a matter of fact, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games, due in large part to the fact that they've only averaged 57 points per game. Good news for TJ Otzelberger. The defense is typically stout, 63.4 opponent points per game during that stretch. But right now, against the West Virginia defense, seems like the offense is clicking a little bit better.
I like how aggressive Kalsher has been going to the basket, coming off of curls. There's another chance in the paint. That's the way they've got to play.
Off the mark by Kuntz. Nice feed, and Emmett Matthews pays it off with the dunk. Tied at 13, counting down to 11 minutes to go in the first half. It is must-win time for the Mountaineers. Lipsey's got his first bucket on a tape to the hole.
A breakdown by West Virginia. You know Lipsey's not going to pull up from the three-point line. You got to be in drop coverage and retreat when he's attacking the rim. 1-3-1 right here. Even fronts with the guards, side to side. Baselines are open, or right under the basket on the post moves.
Bell might have gotten away with shuffling those buckets. Instead, he forced it up over Oshuni, and good defense by the big man, 21 in white.
Can't be impatient against this Cyclone defense when they're set.
They swing the ball. Kalsher aggressive. And foul is called, and that's going to be on Gabe Kalsher, and that's the first bit of bad news for TJ Otzelberger. Gabe Kalsher now with 3 fouls and 10:21 to go in the first half.
Unbelievable. I mean, you appreciate the aggressive move, but you've got to know, as a veteran player, that you can't afford to pick up your 3rd foul in that play.
Here's Mitchell. Jump shot too strong. Cleared by Kuntz. So now Iowa State, in search of offense, will have to play without Gabe Kalsher, who already has 11 in this contest. Oshuni working on Bell. Backdoor cut picked off by Keedy Johnson. Johnson in the open floor, goes right into the painted area and draws the foul on Oshuni.
Well, he's lightning in a bottle, and if you're going to make a weak pass like that, he's going to ram it right down your throat. The speed, the agility, he's not afraid to take the hit either. It's a big-time move. When you see your defender's name on the back of his jersey, you got to attack him. You know there's no way he can turn around and establish position.
Well, it's been a good stretch for Keedrian Johnson. 53% from the field in his last 3, and almost 3 steals a game in his last 4. Interesting night when they played the Kansas Jayhawks. 15 points, no assists, and 8 turnovers. Makes that first free throw. What a Thursday college hoop triple header we have for you. Top 10 and bubble teams. Michigan and Illinois square off at 7 Eastern. Then number 4, UCLA hosts Arizona State in the first of our Pac-12 matchups, followed by number 8, Arizona and USC. All 3 games on ESPN and the app. How about that win by the Sun Devils against Arizona? The prayer for Arizona State gets a much-needed win. They're also on Joe Lunardi's bubble. Keedy Johnson's 2 free throws, ties it up at 15, 9.5 to go. West Virginia joins Arizona State on the bubble to make it into the NCAA tournament. Jaron Holmes uses the window, his first 2 of the night.
Well, another breakdown by West Virginia. Lipsey turns the corner. You can't fight over the screen on him. You've got to go under the screen and beat him to the paint. He draws a crowd, makes a play. Got to know the scouting report. Lipsey, you have to force him to prove that he can hit threes.
Something that the freshman is working on. He's the first one in the gym every morning for these Cyclones. 5 on the shot clock. Joe Toussaint, 5 in blue. Harassed and still hits.
That's straight from Rucker Park right there. And silences the crowd. He's used to fierce competition. He's not afraid of anybody.
The Iowa transfer knocks down his first points of the night. Was 2 for 13 in his last 3 from 3. So that's a good sign for the West Virginia offense.
Joe Toussaint made the mistake against Kansas, the costly turnover, but he doesn't let it bother him. He's moving all over the place, looks at the other end, sees the clock running down, and those are the types of shots you got to make on the road. And I see you, Joe.
Iowa State already 3 offensive fouls in this game, and that usually is the converse of what we talk about with the Cyclones. They are adept at drawing offensive fouls on the opposition. As a matter of fact, they drew 5 against West Virginia last time out.
Well, they said the #1 key was to keep them off of the offensive boards, and #2, don't foul. And they just struggle to do that, especially against West Virginia. They wear you down. Seems like they foul everybody out.
Mitchell out to Johnson for 3, way off the mark. Holmes got some space, comes up short on the mid-range. Look at Toussaint weaving his way through the Cyclone defense, out to Stevenson for 3, and he's off the mark.
I like the West Virginia mentality. They come up with a steal or they have an advantage, they run it right down your throat, continue to put pressure on Iowa State.
Inside, Trey King working on Mitchell, and it's blocked by Mitchell. The extra pass, Toussaint in the corner. 2 for 2 from 3 for Joe Toussaint.
What about Trey Mitchell? He blocks it, he has a good 3-point look at it, but he gives it up for a better 3-point look. He is playing as well as anybody in this league over the last 2 or 3 games, and his basketball IQ is off the charts.
Lipsy took it strong to the tin and got fouled for his efforts.
Joe Toussaint, no ordinary Joe, making big shots on the road. You talk about a great assist. He's too late to the party, and Joe just holding it up.
Series of the same name. For more Black History storytelling and coverage, stream the Black History Always collection on ESPN+. And no kidding, Jess Settles, High on the Hog is on my watch list on Netflix. I love barbecue, I love food, and I love it when it's entertaining and educational, and High on the Hog has gotten rave reviews. Can't wait to check that one out.
Well, then I better take you to Hickory Park tonight for some dinner, huh?
That's Hickory Park, Provisions, the cafe. Ames is filthy with great food. We love it here.
You're in the ag capital of the world right here. The top ag school in all the land.
And now, Jess Settles, as you bore witness to earlier tonight, I could also vouch for the clone cone, which has been made famous inside Home Coliseum.
I mean, you got all kinds of fans around here. I'm trying to hide out as a former Hawkeye, but you got all kinds of people coming up and hanging out with you.
Out of the media timeout, the freshman Tamin Lipsy at the line makes the first of 2 free throws. He's currently in the top 5 for Iowa State freshmen in single-season assists and steals. What a year it's been for Tamin Lipsy.
He flirted with a triple-double against Kansas. He's had a brilliant season. Just makes everybody around him better. If you're West Virginia, you want to move the basketball. You're in the bonus. Make sure you get to the free throw line if nothing else.
Johnson, tough 2 by Kedrian Johnson. His first field goal of the game gives him 4 and gives West Virginia a 5-point lead.
He's just special.
24, Patrick Samnick on the floor for Bob Huggins. The front line a little knocked around and battered. No Muhammad Wagyu. He was out for this game with an injury, and now James Okonkwo, backup big man, is out with an ankle sprain. Bounce pass. Here's Samnick. Gets an and one opportunity.
Well, the problem with Grill's pass to Big Rob Energy is what's he going to do with it if he gets it down there? Why are you trying to force something in for a low percentage shot? Because at the other end, you're just in a scramble situation. Great pump fake and power, and one. West Virginia, according to Bob Huggins, playing great basketball over the last couple of weeks. Been very proud of his team. They got their defense figured out. They're making great decisions, and they punish you if you make a mistake at the offensive end.
Samnick completes the 3-point play. It's the largest lead of the night. West Virginia in the midst of an 11-1 run.
Now, where are the points going to come from for Iowa State? Holmes has to step up. Can he get to the elbow, at least collapse the defense? Pull up for a mid-range. There you go.
Right into the teeth of the defense, and the follow by Jones.
Well, there are times you've just got to put your shoulder down and attack the rim. Good things usually happen. Great play by number 13 to force the issue.
Stevenson's cooled off since his torrid start, and he traveled with the basketball that time.
Yeah, he's just a little too aggressive on his last few possessions. Move the ball side to side, let everybody have a touch, then attack. This is what you've got to do. Attack the rim, force whistles. Jones comes in and cleans up the mess. That's what he's so good at.
We were at shoot-around this morning, and the last thing that TJ Altenberger said to his club before they dispersed, we're going to score 85 points tonight. And he repeated it a couple of times. I don't know if they're on track for that, but they certainly need that offense to step it up just a little bit.
I mean, don't you think if he would have said 75, that would have been a little more realistic?
Would have been well taken.
Come on,
yes.
TJ. I love TJ Altenberger. I would play for that guy any day of the week. He belongs here. He's turned this program around. Such a special fan base. Both of these coaches, they just belong where they are. And, well, you've got to beat them for 40 minutes.
Good hands by Kedrian Johnson. Knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay Cyclones basketball. And there's Coach Otzelberger, 45 years old. He bleeds Cardinal red and gold, right? He was an assistant 3 times for 3 different head coaches before going off and getting a head coaching start at South Dakota State, then on to UNLV, and now back home. Five on the shot clock. Clone's got to go. And a quick feed to Kuntz underneath. A rainbow 3 off the mark, but an offensive rebound for West Virginia. You can't leave Toussaint alone in the corner. He'll hurt you.
Offensive rebounds. They're the best in the business. You get a good stop, then you have to play defense again, and then they rain one in on top of you. It's so deflating, takes the energy out of the gym. The Mountaineers come to the rim.
That's 4 offensive rebounds for the West Virginia Mountaineers. A big reason why they're up 7 on the road in hostile territory. Mountaineers lead it.
Carolina getting a must-win on the road. Rich, Jess, back to you guys.
Thank you, fellas. Look forward to our halftime report here in Ames. Iowa State finds themselves down 7 to a desperate West Virginia team who right now is counted among those 8 teams in Joe Lunardi's bracketology. But if they lose, they fall off the bubble. Right now, they're counted among the last 4 in, but that is some bubble trouble, and they can still survive and get back in the tournament, says Joe Lunardi, even if they lose tonight. But you know Bob Huggins would love to secure a spot in the field of 68.
No question. I mean, so much on the line for this. And I like to see Stevenson not just be a jump shooter, but attack the rim like that. Look, this Mountaineer team, they were vacillating in their commitment to defense earlier in the season. They've got that figured out now. The offense is always going to be there. But when they're locking down like this, they are a handful.
And why is Iowa State struggling offensively?
They just don't have many guys who can beat a defense with the bounce.
Look out. Stevenson comes flying by into the crowd. Right behind us. Talk about an extra effort by Eric Stevenson.
Well, he just has one gear, and that is all out. A little high jump action right there. But again, quick hands, active hands, moving their feet, making life tough for an Iowa State team that struggles to score anyway.
3 on the shot clock. Lipsy in and out. The rebound to Emmett Matthews. A 9-point West Virginia lead on the road. Looking to add to it. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Stevenson, no good.
Yeah, bad shot. Bad shot, forced it. It's working going side to side. You at least want to draw a foul. You just let the defense off the hook right there.
Holmes, close, but no cigar on that triple.
Let's get the ball down to Bell and at least let him touch it. Big possession here for the Mountaineers. Need a quality look, attacking the rim, or at least playing inside out.
Seems like both teams are settling offensively.
Absolutely.
And I guess that's credit to both defenses, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. I think West Virginia is letting Iowa State's defense off the hook. Quick shots, that's what they want you to do.
This is an Iowa State team that was ranked for most of this season. They come in this week unranked for the first time in this calendar year. And that is a 2-pointer, but it's good for Emmett Matthews.
13 points per game quietly over the last 6. That's what he's been doing.
Well, we talk about why is Iowa State struggling offensively. their best offensive player, especially in this game, has been sitting next to TJ Otzelberger for all intents and purposes. That's Gabe Kalsher. He has 3 fouls. The team was up by 2 when he collected that 3rd foul, Jess, and he's been on the bench ever since, and now Iowa State finds themselves down by 11.
He got off to such a great start. He's attacking the rim, and he's also an elite defensive player, so easier shots when he's sitting on the bench for the Mountaineers.
And a gamble by Keedy Johnson, and now he has his 2nd foul. He slams the scorer's table, and the crowd trying to play referee, giving him a technical, but I don't think it's going to happen. And now Johnson goes to the bench, and Seth Wilson comes on.
Yeah, let him sit just for a minute, get cooled down. So much on the line, so much pressure on both of these teams.
A game like this, it's going to take a lot more than that to get a technical foul.
Right.
Trey King, and one opportunity.
Well, we talked about lacking one-on-one players. King, again, puts his shoulder down. I love the spacing. Good action by the Cyclones. That lane opens up, and he just gets to the rim.
And Jimmy Bell is a big man, but Trey King is a grown man himself, playing in his 111th career game after 3 years at Eastern Kentucky. Finally got on the floor this season after sitting out last year with Iowa State. He completes the 3-point play, and now the lead is single digits again for West Virginia. Here's Toussaint. He's got 3 triples himself. A lot of dribbling by Joe, but it pays off. He's got the hot hand now, 11 for Toussaint.
I'll tell you, when Joe T is hitting jumpers, West Virginia is a big problem for the defense.
Reminiscent of another former Iowa Hawkeye jump shooter who shall remain nameless. That one bothered at the rim. Toussaint comes up with it. And a timeout called by West Virginia. Heads up play for the Iowa transfer, Joe Toussaint.
Joe Toussaint, he's used to playing against the Cyclones. He's taken this one personally. Jumpers, 3-pointers, reads the screen, killer crossover, Absalom.
Alongside Jess Settles, Rich Hollenberg inside Hilton Coliseum. The home finale for these Cyclones, but right now they're laying an egg. They have been outscored 22-10 since Gabe Kalsher went to the bench with 3 fouls. What would you do if you were TJ Otzelberger?
With a 10-point game, I would leave him on the bench. I think they did the right thing. If he picks up his 4th foul in the first half, this game's over. You've got to fight to get him to the second half with only 3, then he can be aggressive. Still a ton of time left, but that's been the big story of this first half.
Well, you touched on this earlier, Jess, especially at the start of the season, but as the season wore on, TJ Otzelberger's words of wisdom for this offense was a different guy's going to have to step up every night. Well, it was Gabe Kalsher until he went to the bench with 3 fouls. Now the question is, who is the next man up?
And maybe it's King. I mean, he seems like he's ready to go. It's just all hands on deck. Coach Otzelberger, you got to keep changing the lineup, try to find a spark out of somebody. Maybe somebody's hot tonight.
With 9 on the shot clock, Matthews, no, King the rebound.
Yeah, I would let King get a touch here. He looks locked in, ready to go. Let's see if they post him up and he can rip and attack the rim.
Iowa State had a chance to go 2 for 1 with the shot clock and the game clock being what it was, but they are one of the slowest tempo teams in the nation. Here's Holmes, now 5 to shoot. Spin move, and he got it.
Well, the reason that worked is because the Cyclones were very patient on offense. They got the switch they wanted. Holmes against Bell, advantage Holmes.
5 seconds in the half. Matthews for 3. Off. King grabs it, and we go to halftime. But it's West Virginia in desperation mode on the road up 35-27. Bob Huggins looking for his 103rd win over a ranked team. Trey King and company trying to hang tight, but Joe Toussaint and the Ears have the lead at the break. The Road to Champ Week presented by Wendy's continues. We're ready for second half action between the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Iowa State Cyclones. These two teams in must-win mode in the Big 12, and it's West Virginia with an 8-point lead on the road, silencing the Hilton crowd in Ames. Back inside Hilton Coliseum alongside Jess Settles, I'm Rich Hollenberg. So the good news for basketball fans, in the first game when these two teams met, 55 combined free throws. In this game in the first half, only 9, and West Virginia's been playing really well.
Yeah, and that first game took 2.5 hours, so we're not on pace for that. But Coach Huggins told us in practice today he loves his team. They're playing great. They felt like they should have won at Kansas. They've come in here to Hilton, and they haven't missed a beat. So you got to, if you're Iowa State, you got to take away those jump shots, and the Cyclones have to find a way to generate easy baskets. Those have been tough to come by.
Speaking of jump shots, 2 players in particular for West Virginia really shown in the first half.
Stevenson came out on fire. I mean, everything he saw earlier, that is so deep. Wasn't even hitting the rim. I thought he started to force it a little bit. I mean, that's a hand in his face. It didn't matter. And then Joe Toussaint, he is taking this game personally, hitting threes late in the shot clock, crossing guys over. Those are tough jumpers against an elite Iowa State defense. He's into it against the crowd, and when you're hitting like this, if you're West Virginia, you feel like you can beat anybody. This is Hilton Coliseum, though. Hilton Magic can rear its ugly head and take you down. You have to be focused if you're West Virginia. Stay with the game plan. Offensive rebounding, attacking the paint, making the extra pass, get to the rim.
And the biggest fly in the ointment for TJ Otzelberger and the Iowa State Cyclones, you see it at the bottom of your screen on the left side. Gabe Kalsher had to go to the bench about halfway through the first half with 3 fouls. Before that, Kalsher had the hottest hand in the gym, 11 points to lead the Cyclones, but they got outscored 22-10 when Gabe Kalsher left this game. We'll have to see if he's going to start the second half and how much he'll be able to play in the second half with those 3 fouls.
Well, look for Iowa State to run staggers right at him, get him a couple screens so he can come off firing. I expect him to take a high volume of shots in this second half. He was feeling it. He's got to be smart in these first 5 minutes to not pick up number 4, but you got to play footloose and fancy free if you're number 22. Cyclones have had an outstanding season. Things falling apart. This is a huge half for them.
They have lost 5 of their last 6 games, including this past Saturday at home to Oklahoma, just their 2nd home loss of the season. Now they find themselves down by 8. West Virginia 16-4 this season when taking a lead into halftime. And 18 seconds into the half, we have our first foul. That one's on Jimmy Bell. So Taman Lipsey will inbounds under the Iowa State basket. Robert Jones starting the second half for Otzelberger. Here's the shot by Kalsher. And a fight for the loose ball, and Keedy Johnson's got it, and he's hurt. And Keedy Johnson has taken a beating in Big 12 play this year.
He's as tough as you'll watch all season long. He's limping around out there. He's going to stay in the game.
That foul's going to go on Jazz Coons. Let's see what happened to Keedy Johnson earlier.
These 50-50 balls are so important in a rock fight like this. Good job by Lipsey. They get in there. That's anybody's ball. He comes up with it. And that's a travel. Traveled twice, then falls down.
Landed hard on that right hip. That right hip has been bothering him throughout the season. Actually missed a couple of games because of injury, but now he's going to have to go to the bench and have that tended to.
Yeah, and who's coming off the bench? Joe Toussaint.
Who tied for game-high honors with 11 in the first half. He's got 11, Stevenson with 11, and Kalsher with 11. Here's Stevenson making a baker's dozen for Eric Stevenson now. 10-point West Virginia lead, and you can almost hear a pin drop inside Hilton. Kalsher bumped on the screen.
You're darn right he got bumped. I mean, he's got to get that call. If they're going to blow him up on those screens, there won't be anything he can do about it.
And now a shooter's touch, and it might be a chance at a 4-point play for Iowa State.
Well, we said Kalsher was going to come out firing, and that's what he has to do. And he gets hit hard off of that screen, regroups right here. That's two hands right in the middle of his back. He recovers. Shooter's touch. No one works harder on his shot than Kalsher, and then you see Jazz get launched into the front row.
So instead of a free throw, it's going to be possession arrow for the Iowa State Cyclones after Kuhn Scott's fouled. Jones to the bench, and Oshuni back on for TJ Otzelberg. Now West Virginia forced to go small. Jimmy Bell on the bench with 3 fouls. Bounce pass. Shooting! Tucson. And a foul on the floor on Iowa State. That's going to be on Oshuni.
A beautiful side ball screen by Iowa State. Oshuni sets this up because he's, look at the screen. You got to get Stevenson off of Kalsher. Check this screen out. Displaces him, then rolls hard, tears down the rim. Looked like he might have been hit as well. That's exactly textbook pick and roll on the side.
Just like that, this Hilton crowd is back into it. Stevenson, tough too, Eric Stevenson.
Well, you talk about a smart play, right? He gets the switch he wants. He's got 21 on him. There's no way he can stay in front of him. He doesn't settle, and he goes right to the rim.
Oshuni, he can knock that down. Back-to-back buckets for the big man for the Cyclones. The lead is down to 5, and Bob Huggins wants to talk it over.
What a different team with Gabe Kalsher on the floor. Pick and rolls, jump shots. Iowa State's back in it.
Well, you know this, Jess Settles. They call Kansas City Hilton South for very good reason. It's about a 3.5-hour drive due south from Ames, Iowa to Kansas City, where they play the Big 12 tournament. And year after year after year, the Iowa State Cyclones have come to the T-Mobile Center for the Big 12 tournament, and sometimes they brought the Hilton Magic with them.
Absolutely. Every Cyclone fan in the world attends that event. It's like another Hilton for them, but love seeing Jamal Tinsley, the great Jamal Tinsley, who was unstoppable getting to the rim. The Cyclones, I mean, you look at the last couple of decades, they win championships. They rebuild, they reload, they get it done, and TJ Otzelberger has his guys back in this game, crowd on its feet. They're going to be a dangerous team in Kansas City, regardless of the outcome of this one.
But first things first, they need a little Hilton magic right here, right now. They've cut what was once an 11-point lead all the way down to 5. 5 on the shot clock. And a bailout foul is going to be called on Tamin Lipsey.
Wow. That one's not even close, was it, from that angle?
Stevenson misses the first.
Great job by Lipsy to come out on it.
Wednesday night in the association, our doubleheader starts in Boston. Jason Tatum and the Eastern Conference leading Celtics hosting the Cavs at 7:30. Then it's off to the Rose City. Damian Lillard and the Blazers hosting the Pelicans. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7.
Let's see if Iowa State, assuming Stevenson's going to make this free throw, can get that side pick and roll action again with Kalsher. It's been very effective where the Oshini rolls to the basket, or just those short rolls for the jumper.
Now some token pressure by West Virginia. The days of press Virginia long gone, but they can ratchet it up from time to time. Here's Oshini, mid-post, skip pass, Kuntz, got it! The lead is down to 4. Lipsy off the steal. Kuntz again. And that would have blown the roof off the Coliseum. Stevenson, nowhere to go. Threw it away. Back-to-back turnovers. Now the Cyclones will reset. Chance to make it a one-possession ball game after trailing by as many as 11. And Oshuni does.
Well, that was the stagger I was calling for before. Kalsher comes off of it. Oshini slips it. Brilliant move by the Cyclones.
And an offensive foul called on West Virginia. Things are starting to unravel for the Mountaineers, and the Cyclone Alley is at full throat in Ames, Iowa, where the Iowa State Cyclone...
Well, the side ball screen has been very effective in the last few possessions for Iowa State. Keep your eye on Oshuni. There's the screen, and then he rolls. Fights for position. He's got the mismatch. Doesn't try to conquer the double team. Kicks it out to Jazz, and he makes him pay. Here's the double stagger. If they help over the top, you slip it. You hit the mid-range jumper. Playing a lot like our buddy LaFonso Ellis back in the day at Notre Dame. I love that guy.
Now Fonz is watching along with everybody else from the ESPN studios. Iowa State has come out on fire. 5 for 7 from the field, including 2 for 4 from 3, and it's now just a 2-point West Virginia lead. And now we're tied. Stevenson, skip pass. Here's Mitchell, scoreless on the night, and he stays that way. And with a fresh 20 on the clock, it'll stay West Virginia basketball. That foul's going to be on Lipsy, his second. Matthews, left-handed three, no good. Offensive rebound on the weak side to Bell. And he's going to be fouled by Trey King.
Well, that's just a weight room rebound by Bell. I mean, nobody wants a piece of him. There's the double. They're in the cylinder. They root him out. Good call, but man, you've got to put a body on him. It's easy to say sitting over here on the sidelines. He is so strong.
There's Stevenson. Offensive rebound again, this time by Toussaint. And Mitchell has been off tonight. And now another foul, this time away from the ball in the paint. And it's going to go on Robert Jones, his second. said it before. Things are getting chippy.
I mean, it looked like both guys were having fun in the rock fight. I guess when you get the elbow up there around the neck area, they're going to call that. They're going to go over and review it. But offensive rebounds, Rich, they kill you.
So that's Ron Groover on the left and Jeff Hartness on the right looking at that one. And something tells me it won't be the last time the officials are at the scorer's table.
Well, they're just banging bodies, and does he get that elbow up in the neck area? They're trying to determine, is that excessive and unnecessary?
Here's another look. 12 in white, Robert Jones. 15 in blue, Jimmy Bell. And that's like hand-to-hand combat.
Well, the call on the floor is against Jones, correct?
Yes, sir. If it's a flagrant one, it'll be 2 shots and the basketball for West Virginia.
I think it'll just be a common foul. Looked like they blew the whistle as they were getting tied up. That's the right call.
And you saw Ron Groover signaling over to Jess Settles.
That's good officiating.
After a video review, the officials have concluded it is a common foul.
So already 6 team fouls on Iowa State. West Virginia with 3. 14-24 to go. What was an 11-point Mountaineers lead has disappeared in the first 5.5 minutes of the second half. And it's now a tie ball game. West Virginia needs this win to keep their NCAA tournament playoff hopes alive. If Iowa State wins and Baylor does them a favor and beats Oklahoma State, Iowa State will automatically advance to the Big 12 tournament quarterfinals. And off the inbounds, Eric Stevenson again. He has 19.
Toussaint and Stevenson, the chemistry, the synergy, knowing where Stevenson's going to be. Brilliant. I love seeing him attack the rim.
And very similar to the way the first half started, Eric Stevenson is all the offense for West Virginia.
Hey, this was good defense to start with, but Toussaint doesn't give up on it. He goes back into him. The double comes way too late. Nice left hand. When you're going up against double teams, you've got to attack right away. And Mitchell, nice job clearing out space for him.
Stevenson has all 8 Mountaineer points in the second stanza. Here's Jones working on Bell. Kalsher with 7 on the shot clock. Good defense by Toussaint. With 2 on the clock. Kalsher in and out. And it'll stay Iowa State basketball. That one was halfway down.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You won't see better defense. And you pointed it out. Joe Toussaint did everything right. Kalsher.
Stolen away, Stevenson. And a loose ball foul. And that's going to be on number 10 in blue, Eric Stevenson, his 3rd.
Well, you can live with a foul like this. Stevenson, 50-50 ball, great pick, goes flying in there, catches him along the ankle. That's just great hustle. Stevenson, good job keeping his composure on the road. If I'm West Virginia, I'm posting him up the next couple times, forcing the double and letting him skip it over to the other side for a 3.
A 3 from Holmes! It's Iowa State's first lead since 17-15 at the 9:14 mark of the first half. Stolen away by Lipsy. And bodies colliding all over the place.
What an incredible shot by Holmes. You're coming on the sideline out of bounds play. That's the Iverson cut across the free throw line. Look at the screen by King. They get confused late to the party. Outstanding play call by TJ Otzelberger and company, and he's drawn up another one.
That's Jaron Holmes' first 3-pointer of the night. Coming in, he was just 3 for 20 from 3-point range in his last 5 games. Now Caleb Grill on the floor for TJ Otzelberger. Another three-point marksman. Seven minutes gone by in the second half. Kalsher! From Stevenson. My goodness, Eric Stevenson with 22.
What a game.
Fourth straight game with 20 or more points for Eric Stevenson. Kalsher blocked and a foul on Mitchell. And now Gabe Kalsher will go to the free throw line.
And Gabe Kalsher, just a brilliant read of the screen on his previous three. Johnson tried to cut the screen on him. You see that he tries to go under and cut it. Kalsher steps back. He's worked on that shot so many times. So nice to see the Cyclone offense clicking on all cylinders. Finally, Rich, this is how they were playing earlier in the year. This is what made them a nationally ranked team. This is what gave them confidence to think they could go to a Sweet 16 or beyond.
Kalsher cans the first of two free throws. Our final Super Tuesday of the season, and it's a big one coming up. NC State at Cameron Indoor taking on Duke at 7 Eastern. Then number 3 Kansas hosting Texas Tech at Allen Fieldhouse. Both games on ESPN and the app. Gabe Kalsher now with 3 3-pointers tonight. That makes 4 straight games. He's hit at least 3 triples. He has 19 to lead the Cyclones. And they're up by 3 with 12:20 to go. There's blood on a player's leg, not sure which one. It looks like it's Gabe Kalsher who's getting tended to, not only by trainer Vic Miller, but also by the CEO. That's Conrad Hawley, the chief energy officer, giving him some love.
Well, you get a little rest for Kalsher and a free timeout for Coach Otzelberger to draw something up.
There's the CEO, the chief energy officer, does a little bit of everything. Former walk-on quarterback at Kansas, transferred just to be part of this program, just to be part of a night like tonight. Ten to shoot. Now 3 on the clock. Johnson blocked from behind, and a shot clock violation. Everything going the way of the Cyclones, Jess.
Well, the #1 defense in the league is stepping up in this second half. The emotion, the passion, Hilton Magic alive and well. Senior night is always special in the Big 12, and the most important thing you can do is play well. The seniors for the Cyclones have been outstanding in this second half. Oshuni with the great pass out to Jazz Kuntz, knocks it in, the crowd going crazy, and then Holmes, he's finally found his rhythm. They've been looking for that for a couple weeks, and you can't say enough about Gabe Kalsher. Sits on the bench for 10 minutes in the first half, doesn't hang his head, comes back. These guys are laying it on the line. Such a huge game for both teams on senior night in Ames, Iowa.
Kalsher leading the way for the Clones with 19. Cyclones have doubled up West Virginia in this second half, 22-11. All 11 West Virginia points scored by Eric Stevenson, but the Clones shooting 73% from the field in this second half. Here's Kalsher, guarded by Kobe Johnson, getting his first burn tonight. Try to force it inside, and it's a turnover. Stevenson, out of bounds, unforced error.
And no need, sorry Rich, no need for West Virginia to rush here.
6 second half turnovers for a Mountaineers team that only had 4 the entire first half. What's been the difference, Jess?
The Cyclones, number 21.
This Iowa State defense has improved. They've gotten the passing lanes. They've got it up in the shooters. And it's just amazing what happens when you're hitting shots, how that energy carries over to the defensive end. If you're West Virginia, side to side, skip passes, break this defense down and get the shots you want.
And you see sparks flying off shoulders coming off these screens.
Ah, well said.
Holmes again! Largest lead of the game for the Cyclones. Uh-oh, look out. Kuntz hit the deck. Trey Mitchell is angry, and the whistle blows. And now Jazz Kuntz is checking for some chiclets on the floor. Take a look at the upper left-hand portion of your screen, and you'll see what caused the fracas. And the officials are going to look at that, and to me, that looked like a flagrant.
Absolutely. It's going to be a flagrant. It's a shot to the head. Now the question, excessive, unnecessary, does that qualify as brutal? That's what they're discussing right now, as they're going to go over and look at the monitor. Just good defense by Jazz Kuntz. That's right in the chin.
So here again is the letter of the law in the NCAA rulebook. A flagrant one foul is anything the officials deem excessive and or unnecessary. Certainly not a play on the ball in that case. And if it was a hold or a push from behind, that would also warrant a flagrant one foul. Those two bottom things did not pertain to this play.
Just so unnecessary, right? In a game with so much on the line, emotions flying high, not a play that you want to make.
And I know it's neither here nor there, but why was Trey Mitchell so upset at Jazz Kuntz after Kuntz hit the deck? A frustrating night for 3 and blue. Trey Mitchell, scoreless in the game, and now he's going to be saddled with his third foul. And the only question is, will this be a flagrant one foul? If it is, it's 2 free throws and the basketball for Iowa State. Here it is in real time.
Well, there's no question it's going to be a flagrant one. It's a matter of, do they upgrade it to a flagrant 2?
Now, usually in a fight, you always say it's the second guy who gets caught.
You're sure.
Caleb Grill came in afterwards, clearly sticking up for Jazz Kuntz, and shoved Trey Mitchell. Now we're left to wonder, and we'll find out momentarily, if the officials are going to see that and rule that as well. There's Ron Groover on the left, Tony Padilla in the middle, and Jeff Hartness facing your television monitors. A 52-46 Iowa State lead. They have come storming out of the gates in the second half. They were down by as many as 11 in the first half. And why is this game so important for Iowa State? If they win and Baylor wins tonight against Oklahoma State, that will secure a quarterfinal spot in the Big 12 tournament next week in Kansas City for the Cyclones. And right now, Baylor is up 15 in the second half in Stillwater.
Yeah, chippy game. We called it a rock fight. Trey has been so good over the last couple games. He's got to be smarter than that. And you're right, the second guy usually gets caught, but still, that's just an easy call for the official to see that.
And now a second time, the trio of officials are huddling at the scorer's table. And the crowd's not too thrilled about that either. So here's one more look. You see Kuntz take the elbow from Mitchell. and clearly it's an offensive foul called. But then it's the extracurriculars that have the officials at the scorer's table, because after the foul, Jazz Kuntz clearly kicks his leg, and that upset Trey Mitchell, and then Caleb Grill comes in with the two-handed push. So a lot to unpack for the three officials. The last time these two teams played in early February, there were no fewer than 55 free throws in a foul-ridden game. Tonight's game has been a lot more cleanly played, shall we say, but now tempers are flaring and emotions are reached an apex.
It's been a very entertaining game, some great basketball being played, and I'm going to stick around. The last 10 minutes might be the best 10 minutes of the year. So much on the line for both of these teams. They're obviously all going to be well rested here when they pick it back up.
We mentioned just a moment ago why this game is so critical for Iowa State. You could say the same thing and maybe more for the West Virginia Mountaineers, Jess. If they lose this game, our resident bracketologist, Joe Lenardi, says they are off the bubble and out of the tournament with a chance to still rebound and get back in the field of 68. But you know they would love to secure their spot in the field with a win tonight, and that would be a quad one win. Here comes Tony Padilla to explain it.
Flagrant 2 foul on number 3 for West Virginia. 2 contact dead balls following the play. 3 for West Virginia, 5 for Iowa State. Then a contact dead ball technical foul on number 2 White for Iowa State. So we're going to shoot the flagrant 2 first, then we're going to shoot the contact dead ball. It'll be West Virginia ball baseline.
Well, we don't need to explain it because Tony Padilla did an excellent job explaining it for us. What is going to happen next is going to be a 2-shot technical foul for Iowa State. And now Bob Huggins asking for a little clarification from Ron Groover. Just when you thought things wouldn't slow down to a grinding halt. At the end of the day, the most important thing is they get the call or calls right. And it seems to us that they did. So Jazz Kuntz is going to go to the line with the first set of free throws. Both teams are in the bonus with 10:44 to go. So free throws coming on every subsequent foul. And with that flagrant 2, Trey Mitchell has been ejected from the game.
Well, that really hurts if you're a Mountaineer fan. Trey has been brilliant over the last couple games. Went 3 for 5 from beyond the arc against Kansas. Not playing well in this game, but he was going to be a major factor down the stretch. And now Joe Toussaint and company, you have to regroup, keep attacking the rim. But that's a big blow for West Virginia.
And Kuntz standing all alone at the free throw line, misses the first one. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for Big 12 fans. Our featured game Wednesday, Keontae Johnson and number 11 Kansas State host Oklahoma at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12Now. Keontae Johnson, Marquise Noel, and the Kansas State Wildcats will be on the road in Morgantown Saturday against these West Virginia Mountaineers. So Kuntz can't cash in. He missed both free throws. Now it's Keontae Johnson's turn at the other end. And now they're going to swap out free throw shooters. Instead of Johnson, it'll be Joe Toussaint.
Well, you go from 83% to 77%, so
technically it's the player who replaced Trey Mitchell, and that would be Joe Toussaint off the bench. Toussaint nails the first. He has a dozen. And he goes 2 for 2. And so with all those dramatics, we still have a 4-point ball game. And it's West Virginia basketball. And the crowd is livid. They can't understand why West Virginia would have possession. There's Wilson. Yes, Seth Wilson stepping in and stepping up.
So Jazz Kuntz misses 2 free throws, and West Virginia comes out of that mess with 5 points. Wow.
And now just a 1-point lead for Iowa State. 2 feet in the paint. And a foul on the floor, says Tony Padilla. That's going to be on Toussaint.
You talk about stepping up in a difficult situation. Sidestep, James Harden 3. Look at the arch, snapping the net, and the bench is going crazy. Life on the road is tough. You've got to make those shots down the stretch. What a tremendous game.
That is the 10th West Virginia foul of this half. So 2 free throws coming on every subsequent Mountaineers foul. I think you mentioned it earlier, the first time these two teams met in Morgantown, 2 hours and 35 minutes. We're heading in that direction now, partner.
That took a while, didn't it?
So Jaron Holmes, who has 12 points, steps to the line for 2 free throws, a 66% free throw shooter on the season. He makes the first of 2.
It's a really heady play by Holmes. Emotions flying high. You just play bully ball, attack the rim, force the whistle. That's what a veteran point guard does.
And just for the record, basketball fans, Joe Lunardi is watching. He called in and he said, even with a loss, West Virginia can survive that loss and still make the field of 68. Right now, they are one of the last 4 teams in the field.
Well, they have a tremendous basketball team. I mean, they have size, power, guard play, everything you'd want.
But now they'll have to play the final 10+ minutes severely undermanned in the front court. No James Okonkwo, out with a sprained ankle. No Mohamed Wagee, who missed this entire game with an injury. And now Trey Mitchell's been ejected from this contest. Wilson, not this time. And Jimmy Bell, really the only true big man for West Virginia, commits the foul. And that's going to be foul number 4 on Jimmy Bell.
If you're Kalsher, I mean, you don't have a chance to win this physical battle, so you just got to fight and claw for the 50-50 ball, and it just bumps him a little, the horn and whistle.
An effort play. I mean, it was a foul, but you hate for a foul to be called on an effort play like that from Jimmy Bell Jr. Kalsher, 71% on the season from the stripe. He's made all 4 of his free throws tonight, and he has 20 on the game.
Let's see if he makes this free throw. Iowa State sets up in full court pressure. Try to attack these guards for West Virginia.
Touches almost every part of the rim, but still goes through. Under 10 minutes to go, a 5-point Cyclones lead. On the clock. Number 5 shoots it. And it's too strong. 1 and done for the Mountaineers. Now TJ Otzelberger signaling to his team, run the offense, which means run some clock. He's stressed in practice. Make plays for your teammates on offense. Here's Grill. Looked good off his hand. But here come the Mountaineers. Matthews, no whistle. And the Cyclones take it back the other way.
Matthews got hammered on that play.
Holmes again. He has come alive in the second half. 12 points in the second half for Jaron Holmes.
And if you're Bob Huggins, I think you've got to get your big guns back in the game before this thing gets out of hand. Needs some scoring. Where's it going to come from? Now, Matthews got hit on that last one. Let's see if they come back to him.
Samnick turned it over. Close looking to add to a 6-0 run. Here's Kuntz. Oh, and an and one opportunity. Kobe Johnson. Timeout on the floor. We've reached the under 8 media timeout.
Holmes taking care of business, not settling for jumpers. He's going to force whistles or get to the basket. He's ready.
Well, you know there's always a ton of emotion when they meet on Tobacco Road, but there is a ton of emotion tonight inside Hilton Coliseum as we take a look at your AP Top 10 that was just announced earlier today in Houston, holding on to the top spot. Number 3, Kansas. They have more quad 1 wins than anyone in the country, and 7th-ranked Baylor is on the verge of closing out a big win on the road in Stillwater. Why is that important to Iowa State fans? Because if Baylor wins and the Cyclones win here tonight, that means the Cyclones automatically advance to the quarterfinals in the Big 12 tournament next week in Kansas City and do not have to play an extra game Wednesday night.
I mean, that's massive. What an opportunity. They've turned it around in the second half. They found their offense. But the Mountaineers are well rested. Stevenson, fresh legs. He's got to take over the next couple minutes.
Taman Lipsey running the show, the freshman, but it's 4 seniors joining him on the floor. And the seniors have done all of the scoring in the second half for the Cyclones. Robert Jones, understandably aggressive with the Clones in the double bonus.
They've had so much success in the second half with that pick and roll action along the sideline. They're getting the switches they want, either kicking it out, getting to the rim, or drawing fouls.
Robert Jones, just a 39% free throw shooter. But don't tell Big Rob Energy that. He makes his first, so the second one's gravy, right, Jess? Gravy! And you know the crowd and his teammates knew that. Here's Stevenson. That triple try way off the mark by Josiah Harris. And now you know the Clones are going to want to take some air out of the basketball. Grill. Holmes. Well off the mark.
Great defense by Johnson. He's limping out there in a lot of pain, trying to gut this one out, but he took that hard fall on his hip.
Matthews for 3. Got it. Emmett Matthews' first points of the second half. He has 9, and now we have a 3-point lead for Iowa State.
Matthews is so smooth.
This game is far from over. And Jones took one in the eye. Inadvertent, but he'll be shooting free throws after the Kobe Johnson foul. That's the Kedrian Johnson foul.
I have no idea why Keedy is out there guarding him this far away from the basket. Puts his hand right in his back and then rakes him across the face. That's not a smart basketball play. He can do nothing to hurt you out that far away from the rim.
So Robert Jones lost the contact with that contact. And he's over on the bench. And Vic Miller is in hustle mode, going back to the Cyclones locker room to look for a replacement contact lens for Robert Jones. Good show of sportsmanship by Keedy Johnson. And, you know, it's interesting, the dichotomy of the first time these two teams played with tonight. One thing that TJ Altenberger told us was, with all the fouls that Iowa State committed in that first game, a lot of them were stupid fouls. There's a fine line between playing tough and playing stupid. Tonight, it seems like West Virginia is committing more of those fouls.
Yeah, TJ Altenberger had no complaints about all the whistles in the first game. He said that was on us. And if you're West Virginia, you have to know Iowa State's offense has struggled mightily over the last 3 games. So you do not want to bail them out with fouls, send them to the free throw line. You want to make them a half-court team offensively and make them earn it.
Well, think about this. 6:21 to go in this game, Jess. Iowa State's sitting at 60 points. They haven't gotten to 60 in their last 3 games. Yeoman-like work from athletic trainer Vic Miller, getting an extra contact from the locker room as Robert Jones, with one good eye, will step to the free throw line. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Just 39% from the stripe on the year. Understandable to be off the mark after that. Now Jazz Kuntz checks in for the Cyclones as Seth Wilson comes on for Bob Huggins Mountaineers. Oh for 2 from Jones that time. West Virginia trying to speed things up. 3rd best scoring offense in the Big 12, but they're playing against the #1 scoring D in the conference. Good weak side rebound by Caleb Grill, one of the best rebounding guards in the nation.
Yeah, that was good offense. The ball swung side to side twice. They got a pretty good look.
Here's Lipsy. Jones guarded by the smaller Stevenson. And he goes off the window. Here's Stevenson for 3. He knew it was off when he shot it, but he couldn't follow his miss. Now the Clones look to add to what is a 5-point lead coming up on 5 minutes to go. A win, and ostensibly the Cyclones have booked their ticket to the Big 12 tournament quarterfinals. And that one's going to go on Holmes.
Well, you talk about a brilliant play by Keedy Johnson to come in there and snatch that ball away from Holmes. That's what he does, fighting through the pain, limping down the court. This is a huge possession. Just look at him come in here and clamp it, steal it, take it out of there. That was textbook.
Keedy Johnson at the free throw line. He has just shy of 3 steals a game in his last 4. But he's been fairly quiet tonight at the free throw line with just 4 points. Misses the first. Saturday on ESPN, the top teams in the Big 12 square off at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Number 9, Texas hosting number 3, Kansas. Then it's Duke, North Carolina at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. The top teams in the Pac-12 get after it. Number 4, UCLA hosting number 8, Arizona. Should be another great day of hoops. And who knows, that Kansas-Texas game might be for all the marbles on Saturday. These Cyclones will be on the road in Waco to close out their Big 12 regular season.
Lipsy's got to take that mid-range jumper when they give it to him. It might be the best shot you get on this possession. That's a tough shot.
Stevenson. Johnson. Talk to Keedy Johnson.
Unbelievable. He gets the rip steal at one end. He's limping up and down the court. He's in a ton of pain. He lowers his shoulder. He knows what's at stake. He's sacrificing everything to bring this one home. Big time shot by Keedy.
Under 4 to go. Nice cut, nice curl, big bucket from Kalsher. 23, 2 off his season high. Stripped, out of bounds, West Virginia ball. Timeout on the floor for the final. West Virginia won by 5 the last time these teams met. Iowa State looking to return the favor and secure a spot in the Big 12 tournament quarterfinals as we sprint to the finish here inside Hilton Coliseum. 3:38 to go. It's a 64-60 Iowa State lead over West Virginia. Possession arrow in favor of the Mountaineers. Both teams in the double bonus, and both teams with multiple timeouts remaining. Alongside Jess Settles, I'm Rich Hollenberg. We have been treated to an entertaining contest, which both teams feel like is a must-win game for them.
Well, they've both played outstanding basketball. Truly a sense of urgency. It's been a physical game. 3:38 to go, 4-point game. Your seniors, your leaders have to step up and make big shots down the stretch. The free throw line is critical in this one.
Well, you know Bob Huggins has got to be looking. And a foul called on Oshuniyi.
It's just so unnecessary. Puts his hands right on him. West Virginia goes to the free throw line. We just pointed that out. You have to make them earn it, and that's just been a problem for Iowa State this year. TJ Otzelberger can't believe it. There's Toussaint. I mean, that's just an easy call.
Yeah. And now Joe Toussaint at the line, shooting 2 free throws. He has 14 on the night. And now it's a 1-possession ball game.
You just have a feeling Tamin Lipsy's going to have to make a mid-range jumper over the next couple possessions. He's getting the switch he wants. West Virginia's got to take it away from Holmes. Don't let him get it back if he gives it up.
And the senior out of the Bronx.
He's been great tonight, hasn't he, Rich?
4 for 4 from the free throw line in the second half. 2-point game. Holmes with the ball, cross court to Kalsher. And now the freshman Lipsy controls, guarded by Wilson. Kalsher left alone in the corner. Short on that 3-ball. And now West Virginia could tie or take the lead with a 3. Haymaker after haymaker in this one. And a foul on the floor will send Keedy Johnson to the line. That's the 4th on Oshuniyi.
Johnson's just a brilliant basketball player. I mean, he gets the mismatch he wants. Again, this is what you do. You don't let the big off the hook. He puts his hands right on him. This is one of the gutsiest performances I've seen all year. I don't know if folks watching at home can see him limping around on the court, but he took a hard fall. He's in a ton of pain. He knows what's at stake.
That one off the mark. The normally reliable Kedrian Johnson, 83% from the free throw line, has one remaining.
Against Kedrian Johnson.
So it was a delay of game warning, just to slow things down that much more. Now Johnson will try to salvage one of the two free throws, and he does. Now we've got ourselves a one-point ball game in Ames. Iowa State the lead and the ball, 2:45 to go. Inside, Oshuni turns, spins, can't hit. West Virginia scores, they are back on top. Toussaint. And still no Eric Stevenson on the floor for Bob Huggins. Petey. 8 on the shot clock. Toussaint gives it up. And a foul's going to be called, and Emmett Matthews will go to the free throw line.
Early in that possession, Joe Toussaint could have forced a tough shot. He had the mismatch with Jazz. He wanted to take that shot, but he thought, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to keep moving it on. It comes back to him. What a brilliant assist. Big free throws here, but Joe Toussaint is on his game tonight.
Well, not nearly the amount of fouls that were called in the first game between these two, but one of note, West Virginia was 26 of 31 from the free throw line when they beat the Cyclones in Morgantown. Could we see a repeat? 2:10 left. Come back. If Iowa State wins and Baylor holds on to win on the road in Stillwater, the Cyclones will have locked up a quarterfinal spot in the Big 12 tournament next week in Kansas City. If West Virginia can come back and win this game on the road, it'll be one of their biggest of the season, and it will put them squarely in the NCAA tournament, according to our resident bracketologist, Joe Lenardi. A lot at stake in this one in the final 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Matthews, 79% free throw shooter. Calmly drains the first, and we're tied at 64.
I'll tell you what, if you're a young player, watch this shooting form. The rotation, the arc on the ball, the follow through. This is a thing of beauty for Matthews.
And the native of Tacoma, Washington, calmly drains both free throws to give West Virginia its first lead since 43-41.
Oshini's got to touch the ball on the low block right now and take advantage of Matthews. Small lineup in for West Virginia. 21's got to touch it.
Under 2 minutes to go. The ball is singing for the Cyclones. Who's going to end up with the shot? Holmes does, in and out.
Excellent side ball screen action, but 21 did not touch the ball in that possession.
It's a final from Stillwater. The Baylor Bears hold on to beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So all Iowa State has to do is close out the Mountaineers, and they will lock up a spot in the quarterfinals. Easier said than done. 5 on the shot clock. Nice feed to Toussaint Matthews. Senior to senior, Toussaint Matthews gives West Virginia a 3-point lead. Mountaineers in the midst of a 7-0 run. 1 minute left in Ames. That one blocked out of bounds by Matthews. It'll stay Iowa State basketball with 10 on the shot clock.
Well, Joe Toussaint having one of the best games of his career. Gets the mismatch, doesn't try to force it. Look at this cut. Matthews cuts with integrity, hanging on the rim. Joe T, what a pass. biggest game of the year for West Virginia, and he's coming through huge.
What a night for Joe Toussaint. 15 points, 7 rebounds, and that dime that he just had to Emmett Matthews was his 3rd assist of the night.
Matthews just exhausted, leaning on his teammate just to get off the court.
Now the officials are at the scorer's table. This looks like Michael Jordan in the flu game against the Utah Jazz. My goodness. Ice packs on the back of the neck.
Both teams so physical, so tough. Coach Huggins, 6-time National Coach of the Year, a coaching legend. He's been in these battles many times. It's all about getting stops and making free throws right now for the Mountaineers.
And they are in bubble trouble if they lose. But if they win, they're going to go a long way towards securing a spot in the NCAA tournament.
10 seconds on the shot clock. You cannot let Kalsher get the ball back.
Here's Kalsher, guarded by Wilson. 5 to shoot. Holmes, blocked. Lipsy, no. Loose ball. And the Mountaineers come away with it. West Virginia with possession and a 3-point lead. Both teams with timeouts remaining, and Bob Huggins uses one. 1 timeout left for West Virginia, 2 timeouts remaining for Iowa State.
Emmett Matthews, he needs an oxygen tank. They're having to help him off the court. Trying to find energy. He's got the ice pack. Comes in, can barely move. Look at this block. Game on the line. Good rebound. That's a huge play by number 1.
Emmett Matthews had a season-high 20 points when these teams first met in Morgantown. He has 13 tonight. 67-64, West Virginia with the lead and the basketball. Possession arrow goes to the Mountaineers. 1 timeout remaining for Bob Huggins. 2 TOs left for Iowa State, and both teams have been in the double bonus for quite some time. So West Virginia's basketball, what do you think they're going to try and do offensively?
Well, what's been working is Joe Toussaint, so they're going to start through him. I don't know if they'll send a ball screen to him so that the switch is easy. I think they'll just clear out space for him and let him go to work. If he can get to the paint and collapse that defense, he can kick it out to the shooters.
Let's check in on the night from Joe Toussaint.
He came out hot, just late in the shot clock, taking over the possessions, quieting the crowd, wicked crossovers, getting the switches that he wants, getting Oshini on him, attacking him, picking up fouls, making free throws. One of the best games of his career. We haven't even mentioned the outstanding, brilliant defense that he plays on every possession.
And somewhere in Stillwater, you got to believe that Mike Boynton and his Cowboys are watching the end of this game. Why is it important? Because they swept these Iowa State Cyclones. And if those 2 teams, Iowa State and Oklahoma State, end up in a tie at the end of the regular season, that means the Pokes get the tiebreaker. And it would push, potentially, the Iowa State Cyclones into that play-in round on Wednesday night. And the final timeout called by Bob Huggins and the West Virginia Mountaineers with 28.5 to go. So now that we know that Baylor took care of business on the road, if the Big 12 tournament started today, this is what it would look like. But again, still 1 more game to play for all the teams on Saturday. A couple teams still have games tomorrow and on Wednesday. But if Iowa State wins this game, they would be in the quarterfinals, and they would be facing the Kansas State Wildcats. Not an easy draw, but you could basically say that, Jess, about any team and any game in this tournament.
I mean, that's going to be the toughest tournament of all time. Oklahoma has an outstanding basketball team. I mean, anybody can beat anybody in this league. And
The one thing you could say about the Cyclones, they have a win against Kansas, a win against Texas, a win against Kansas State, and a win against Baylor. They've beat everybody in front of them this season so far.
7 AP top 25 wins for the Cyclones. 4 top 10 wins. It's an incredible season. Their offense has left them the last 3 or 4 games, but they found it tonight, right now. 1 stop. Give themselves an opportunity to come down and tie this game.
And yet, we've documented their struggles for TJ Altenberger and company lately. They've lost 5 of the last 6, including their last game, which was here at home. It was only their 2nd loss at home on the season, and now they're in danger of losing their 2nd straight home game. 7 on the shot clock. Toussaint. And he somehow baited Tamin Lipsey into the foul.
How impressed are you with number 5 tonight? I mean, the basketball IQ. This is an NBA move. The pump fake, Lipsey into his shooting space. No chance of making the shot, but the veteran move to pick up the foul.
And you hate to oversimplify it, but I will anyway. That's a senior guarded by a freshman. Joe Toussaint, a perfect 4 for 4 tonight from the free throw line. Make it 5 for 5.
Number 2, Kobe Johnson, backs into the West Virginia lineup, replacing Eric Stevenson.
Now Huggs doing some offense for defense substitutions. Stevenson was on the floor. Now he'll go back to the bench as the Mountaineers will transition to the defensive end of the floor. Stevenson leads the Mountaineers with 22, but Joe Toussaint has been the MVP of the night for West Virginia. Shot clock is off, 15 seconds left. Iowa State down 5. They need a bucket and need one fast. Kalsher gets it for him. And immediately Iowa State calls timeout, 9.9 to go. A game high 26 for Gabe Kalsher.
I mean, this is incredible defense. Matthews takes it away. Toussaint closes out. I don't know how he makes this shot. That's just a big-time shooter. Wow, he is on fire. What a step back.
So now we have a 2-point game, 9.9 to go. It's going to be West Virginia basketball. Take me inside both huddles, because the first question that comes to mind is, if you're Iowa State, do you foul or defend?
I like to defend on one pass. I mean, you're going to try to get West Virginia to get in Coffin's corner down there, run to the ball too quickly, travel, or lob something over the top that you can steal. You can only afford to do it for a couple seconds, and then you have to foul. If you're West Virginia and Coach Huggins, you've got your best ball handlers and free throw shooters in the game, and you're saying to your guys, don't expect to foul. You've got to be extremely tough, sharp elbows, come to a jump stop, don't expect a whistle.
The Mountaineers are 16 for 19 collectively from the free throw line tonight. But they are out of timeouts. That's also something to keep in the back of your mind if you're the Iowa State Cyclones. And you've seen this before on an out-of-bounds play. The Baylor Bears actually like to run this a lot. Everybody is eligible to run the floor for the Mountaineers. They do, they get it into Toussaint. And Trey King fouls him. 1.2 seconds coming off the clock. And Joe Toussaint will go back to the free throw line.
Well, that's what you do as a coaching staff. You put your kids in a situation to perform and win the game. Now it's in the hands of the players. Toussaint played so well under pressure all night, but these are the biggest ones of the night for him.
Huge free throw for Joe Toussaint. And that makes it a 3-point ball game with 8.7 to go. West Virginia already in postseason mode, must-win mode. If they could escape Ames with a win, They'll host 11th-ranked Kansas State on Saturday with a chance to further increase their NCAA tournament resume. Ice in his veins from Joe Toussaint. All of his points in the second half have come from the free throw line. Here's Kalsher from 3. Again, it's short, the follow by King. And now timeout for Iowa State, their final timeout called in a 2-point ball game. Well, this is a building where back in the day, Buck Turnbull from the Des Moines Register coined the phrase Hilton Magic. TJ Altenberger and company could really use some magic right about now.
Well, it's a belief that until the clock says 0, that they have an opportunity to win, and it's happened many times here. Right now, you have to zero in on the worst free throw shooter for West Virginia. I would tell the officials right here, I'd say, look, we're going to foul before you even inbounded. Just not much time on the clock for Iowa State unless something miraculous happens here.
And again, just spinning things forward like we have been in this game for Iowa State. If they lose tonight, they'll fall to 8 and 9 in conference play, and they don't have it any easier on Saturday. They go to Waco to take on the Baylor Bears on Saturday. So let's just say they lose that game. They fall to 8 and 10 in league play and could possibly end up playing on Wednesday night in the Big 12 tournament.
There's just no mercy in this league. I mean, you can't recover. There are no get-right games. There's no healing. Every game is massive. It's like no other conference in the country right now.
And Jess, the ironic thing about Iowa State potentially playing on Wednesday is they could play these West Virginia Mountaineers in that game.
Unbelievable.
Both teams out of timeouts. Possession arrow in favor of West Virginia. Both teams in the double bonus. You know Iowa State is looking to foul immediately once the ball is inbounds. They trail by 2. In danger of losing 6 of their last 7 games with 1 game remaining in the Big 12 regular season slate. And West Virginia's going to do the same thing they did last time, having to go full 94.
You got to send one guy deep.
They get it in to Stevenson, and only 0.7 off the clock. So now Eric Stevenson, with 22 points in the game, will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. Even if he makes them both, a heave and a prayer could tie the game. And Stevenson makes it just a little bit more interesting, missing the first free throw. It'll take a miracle in Ames for Iowa State to win this. Now they'll have a chance to tie with 1.2 left. Here's the pass. Picked off, it's over. West Virginia survives on the road and wins by 3. 72-69, your final. A back-and-forth contest, a rock fight to say the least. And the Mountaineers are still alive and kicking with their postseason hopes on the line. West Virginia improves to 17-13 overall and 6-11 in Big 12 play. Iowa State has now lost 6 of their last 7. They dropped to 17-12 and 8-9 in Big 12 play. Once again, our final score, West Virginia 72, Iowa State 69. For Jess Settles and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Thanks for watching. We say so long from Ames, Iowa, where West Virginia spoils senior night inside Hilton Coliseum with a big 3-point upset win on the road.